You're kicking it with G and Renegade on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.
With ProvoCouture Events, LaShica Velazquez, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Now, you know I'm just playing with you. You know that's my family, so you know we finna get in here and talk crazy on everything.
Right.
So, for the people that don't know who you are, give them just a small little breakdown of where you come from and who you are.
Okay, well, I'm originally from a little small town. So if you know my cousin Jarrettson, then you know we're from the same little small town outside of Bryan College Station. Yeah. And I graduated from Texas Southern University. And I used to, for 16 years, I actually worked for Walmart Stores Incorporated as a district manager. And now I have full-time started event planning, special event production, and specialty event rental.
So you went from Walmart to event planning.
Right.
That's a pretty big leap. That's a big leap of faith to go from Walmart to event planning.
Well, definitely I am a woman of faith. However, during the entire time, or I won't say the entire, the majority of the time, I actually was doing my business on the side. So I was an entrepreneur who had a full-time corporate job. So in the evenings when everybody else was watching TV or hanging out, I was working on my business. And on the weekends, I did events. And so 2.5 years ago, I made the decision to say I wanted to take a leap of faith, trust God, and He has taken care of me.
Now, we can't just skip right over there like that just happened. I'm going to just go back and tell, I want to break it down and get into what made you take that leap of faith? Like, okay, you got to Walmart. What made you be like, you know what? Because obviously Walmart paid good. So you was making good money at Walmart for you to be like, I'm going to try this. I need to get up out of this corporate thing and just do my own thing.
You know, probably Walmart. Honestly, Walmart is a great company. I made a great living and I had a great position with autonomy to do kind of what I wanted. I had, over the course of that time, you know, anywhere from 9 to 17 super centers that I managed the HR for. But truly, it was inspirational. And I always thought, well, if Sam Walton could create Walmart, why can't LaShica Velazquez create her own business, her global brand? And so that was kind of in the back of my mind. Additionally, I really try to live my life without regrets. And so I just started to take stock of where I was at, what I was doing, what did I want. And I thought about it and I said, if I never give myself the opportunity to truly go 100% grinding for myself, it would be a regret for me when I was old. Even if I had been successful and had built the life that corporate provided, I still would have the regret. I would always wonder, what if? And I don't live my life that way. So I prayed about it, and quite honestly, I prayed for a number of years. It was a few years where I was like, I should leave this year. My husband's like, maybe not this year. We got a bonus coming up. We got a vacation coming up. And then we say, well, maybe not this year. You know, we got this coming up. And it just kept going on. And then finally I said, you know what? I think it's time. And a few things happened at work, you know, that I wasn't happy with. I was being realigned a little bit. And I just thought, you know what? Now's the time. Take a chance on yourself. If you can't bet on you, then who can you bet on? And ultimately, I still have the experience and the skill set. So if my gamble doesn't pay off, I'll go back to corporate America. But I'm betting on me and it's working.
Hey, that's what you got. You said it right. Betting on you. You have to bet on yourself, because if you don't bet on yourself, ain't nobody else gonna bet on you.
Absolutely.
So that's a guarantee. But man, just I guess grasp that leap of faith to just jump into do your own thing, man. Like a lot of people get scared of just I guess of failing.
Right.
You know, that I feel like that hinders a lot of people from actually walking into their purpose, or more so what they would say. And the fact that you came from a small town to come to a city, and I'm gonna just say kind of be a mini celebrity underneath, not really known but not known, like that's a pretty big thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know about being a celebrity. I'm like the most known unknown is what.
Most known unknown.
That's the way I think of it. So people who know me, and they're like, yeah, you know, but then there's a whole group of folks who don't know me or don't know, you know, what I'm able to do. So
Do you feel like it's any type of challenges that certain event planners face here in Houston for us being able to network?
I don't know that it's necessarily something about Houston. You know, we have the Southern hospitality here, so when you know people or when you get the opportunity to showcase what you can do, then people are pretty open and accepting. I think with anything, with any business, you know, people want to know what you're about. They want to know, do you have integrity? They want to know, where's your creativity as an event planner? And honestly, people, just like with everything, people go with the name brand. So, you know, people often buy, you know, designer labels because you expect a certain level of quality because you're buying designer, you're spending more. And so I look at it as, you know, I'm a designer label and you may just not be up on me yet.
Now, I can definitely vouch for you because, of course, you did my wedding. It was absolutely beautiful. Everybody still talk about this wedding to the day, about the best wedding they've been to. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Again, thank you again for that.
My pleasure.
But where do you go to find some of the, don't give away your plug, but how do you come up with some of the things that you create? Because you do come up with some pretty unique things.
I am a researcher. So I think that goes back to, I have a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. And so I research all the time. So my husband calls me Google. I am always on the internet and I look at and pull inspiration from interior design. Or I could be watching a TV show and I'll see wallpaper and I'll be like, was that wallpaper glowing? You know, or did it look like felt or vinyl? And I will then spend the next 4 or 5 days researching that show, who's the product, who's the production assistant, who actually built the props, and then find out what that was. And that might be my inspiration that I just put in my back pocket, and I may pull it out 4 years later. Yeah. But I'm always researching. That's where it comes from.
And it comes from a lot of different places. So how did you come up with ProvoCouture?
You know, I was playing around with a few names, and just one thing about me, beyond being a researcher, I'm a reader. I read at least 4 books a week. So it doesn't matter if I have an event, I might have 2 events, I might have a wedding coming up, but the way I relax is to read. And I love books and anything that's really about kind of the Elizabethan period, French royalty. And I was reading some books and I was like, you know, I really want something that's timeless, you know, something that conveys a sense of royalty and something, you know, I'm really into clothes and fashion. So I was like, something couture. So I kept thinking that. I was like, something couture. And so my husband is the one who was like, you know, you want something provocative. You want something provocative. So we kept kind of playing with that and we came up with ProvoCouture.
That's amazing. That is amazing, man. So, how did you first break into it? When did you get your first break?
You know, truly, it was a friend. Beyond doing my own wedding. And that was really the premise and mission where I decided.
So you did your own wedding?
I did my own wedding, which I absolutely do not advise.
I was just going to say, like.
It was so ridiculous. At the time, we lived in Bentonville, Arkansas. I was working at the home office for Walmart. And I didn't want to have to travel back and forth to Texas to do my wedding. So we decided to do it in Arkansas. And long story short, when meeting with the vendors, I felt like I wasn't getting kind of stellar customer service and I was frustrated by it. And I kind of vented to 1 or 2 of the vendors who were a little nicer than the other ones, and they broke it down and said, well, in this industry, most clients are one-time only clients. And so while we provide good service, it's not really our focus to maintain you because we know even if you get married again, you're probably not going to do it this big. And that made me so mad. I was like, what are you talking about? So that was part of it. So that started, you know, the idea of bubbling. I'd always done events for friends, but I was doing it for free. I started thinking, I need to incentivize this because every weekend I'm going to set up for somebody's birthday, baby shower, you know, for free. And I love you guys, but hey, my time is worth something. And then I realized what I could do, what would make it different, what is the complete mission for ProvoCouture. What makes us different is I'm not trying to be just an event planner for your one milestone. I want to be your family planner. You have a family doctor, family dentist, a family mechanic. You need a family planner. So whenever you're having a milestone, if it's a wedding, if it's an anniversary party, it's a milestone birthday, kids graduation, then you just need to pick up the phone and say it's time to call LaShica, or L as they called me. And so that's really the vision behind everything we do. And how we got started is people saw pictures of my wedding first, and a good friend of mine, we were at the hair salon, and she's like, girl, your wedding was amazing. You know, my friend is getting married and she's so frustrated trying to do it by herself. And I said, really? And funny thing is, she and I were friends, and her best friend and I had met, and we kind of liked each other, but not really.
You know, I know.
So I was like, She's like, I'm going to tell her that you should plan her wedding. I said, okay. So I offered to do her wedding for free. The very first ProvoCouture wedding was for 300, well, supposed to have been for like 260 people. Ended up for being about 320 people. And I did it for free. And
that's a big thing right there. First of all, a lot of people don't really understand when you first starting off, you got to do some stuff for free. It ain't no getting away around it. You just got to do some stuff for free if you want your name out there.
Right.
Just for it to happen. And it paid off.
One of my great friends now, she says all the time, anything that you do, if it's good enough, you ought to be willing to give it away for free first. Not all the time, but first. And she's very successful entrepreneur, and so she's a friend and a mentor, and I truly believe that. So that first wedding we did for free. So I mean, it was a loss for me. I paid people to work. I had family and friends who worked it, but we got great pictures from it, and that particular client then paid for me to plan somebody else's, one of her friends. And so for years, I have been successful through word of mouth. I've had brides pay for me for their best friends to be their planner, or someone who attended the wedding will say, hey, who did your wedding? I want her to do mine. Or a lot of return events. So I've done people's weddings, their 5-year anniversary, their baby showers, their housewarming. Now they're into the milestone birthdays. So we're all growing up together, people turning 35, people turning 40, and I'm doing their parties.
And see, the story's so special to me because I understand where it came from. So for somebody to come from literally nothing,
right,
and to turn it in, you know, to grow to this level and to be moving like it is now, like, really, what can you say? Like, it's just a motivation. It should be a motivation for everybody, especially coming from where we come from, to know that you don't have to stay around where you're at. You know what I mean? You can go outside your box, you know what I mean, to make it. Like, you stepped into event planning. It was already a million event planner.
Absolutely.
It's enough money for everybody.
It's enough money for everybody. Everybody can eat. I am definitely someone who believes that what's for you is for you. What God has for me is for me. And I believe that I can be successful and transformational in this business, and I don't have to be ugly, and I don't have to treat people dirty. And again, my goal is always to be somebody's family planner, and you can't do that by not treating people well.
Yeah. Man, you didn't. So you went from, we got from nothing, we done got to the name ProvoCouture, you done got to your first thing, now you done got your feet wet.
Right.
You're running now, you done start getting things done. Where are you pulling from? I know you say you do a lot of research, but like, is it certain kind of techniques that you kind of want to shy from, or you want to take from? Like, what kind of challenges did you face?
I mean, of course, it's always challenges. Do you have enough capital to do what you want? You know, I'm a person who dreams big. I've always felt like, why not? Dreams are free. So sometimes I have to pace myself. And so I have a really good support system who will say, okay, delayed doesn't mean denied. Just because you can't do that right now doesn't mean you won't get the opportunity to do it. I guess the things I shy away from are anything that's trendy. Like if that's what's happening now, I really don't want to do it. I'll do it later, or either I got to do it first. So that's kind of me, and that's always been me. So whether you're family or friend, you've known me for years, you know, that's something that you can say, she has always been that way. If everybody else is doing it, no thanks.
Yeah. I don't blame you, but no trending. Don't come over here with them trends, because we ain't having it. But tell us about some of your segments. I didn't see you on the news segments. You didn't pretty much, everywhere. Just, you know.
Well, I've had the opportunity throughout my career. So besides the event planning, I still do HR consulting. I still do business consulting. So I've had the opportunity to be interviewed with regard to those. As far as event planning, I guess most recently you may have seen me on Say Yes to the Dress with one of my clients. So Mr. and Mrs. Haynes.
Big event.
So
Big.
Teddy Haynes is a native Houstonian, and she married Darren Haynes, who's actually a sports director for a news station in Washington, D.C., and they got married here last year at the Bell Tower on 34th, so not far from the studio. And we got the opportunity to fly to New York so that she could pick out her dress, and they really enjoyed all of us. So it was myself, the bride, her mother, one of her best friends, and her future mother-in-law at the time. And they enjoyed all of us so much that they decided to come to Houston. They filmed the wedding. So we filmed it last year in December, but they just aired the program in February, I believe.
And I just following just that story and just watching other things that you do, like every client that you have, it almost seems like, whether it be white, black, Mexican, it seems like it's already family. Y'all don't look like clientele. It looks like family photos and pictures, everybody.
It is family. I'm their family planner. So we're family. So Teddy and I talk. Honestly, over the course of the 12 years that I've been doing this, I am friends with all of my clients. I don't have a client story that I can tell you where I don't reach out to them and we don't chit chat about something. On average, I normally do about 3 to 4 additional events past the first one. So I get pictures of kids. You know, they say our baby is graduating, you know, those sorts of things. I get invited to other things. So we are family. Quite honestly, several of my brides, you may see their pictures on, you know, my social media where I post it, and then if you actually come to the next event, you might see them, because a lot of them are like, you know what, I want to come work a wedding with you. So a couple of them actually work for me now.
That's even, hey, you can't get no better than that. You go from doing somebody's wedding for them working for you, like, got to be doing something right. So what is the biggest event that you feel like you've done this far?
The biggest event, I mean, probably, I don't know if it was necessarily the biggest event because, well, twofold. The biggest event so far, the NAACP Houston branch Centennial After Party. So Houston NAACP turned 100 in 2018, and I had the opportunity to serve on the Centennial After Party Committee, and ProvoCouture actually was the event designer. So we had the opportunity to design it and produce the after party.
And I actually got to be in attendance to that after party, and I want to say that thing was nice.
Thank you.
Let's just say it was very exquisite. Let me just tell you that, from ice bars to hanging donuts to flying chips. We got photo booths, everything. Dance floor. I just know it was a good event, so it beautiful.
Thank you. So that was the largest. It was about 600 people. So that probably is the largest that I've done so far. But I've got another gala coming up in about 30 days.
Oh. Have you had any like event almost get out of hand? People just like too drunk, having too much fun, didn't want to leave?
Every event I do, people don't want to leave. So that's usual. I've not had the situation where people get out of hand. I really believe that's part of the planning process. If we know that we're going to have an open bar, which is most of my events, I plan for security. My team is very professional, so they know how to de-escalate. So if we see somebody and maybe they're imbibing quite a bit, we'll go over, joke with them, kind of cut them off in a nice way, get them some food, try and sober them up, because of course we want everyone to get home safely. We want to have a great party, but we want everyone to go home safely. So we try and manage that, but we always have security on hand.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you say NAACP, it just got my mind to thinking, because you're also in a community chapter, right? That y'all do community service and different things around in Pearland?
Yes, I'm a member of Greater Pearland Area Chapter of the Links Incorporated. And so we do a lot of service projects.
What information where people can go actually to look for that, so they can get kind of involved with certain projects that y'all have around and do?
We have a website, so Greater Pearland Area Chapter of the Links, or GPAC.org. You can come out. We have a calendar showing all of the things that we're doing in the community. We have brought the Houston Museum of Natural Science out to Pearland and did a completely free program allowing parents and children to come out and have services from the museum, like A Bug's Life, Science on the Stage. We had a stimulation academy where we had students participate in science, technology, engineering, and math courses. We're now getting ready to do a prom experience event where we'll be assisting some underprivileged teens who are going to prom with getting dressed up. So I think it's very important that you're always focused on giving back, not only taking, but putting something back in.
That's big.
So we always at ProvoCouture, whether it's through my work with the Links or with other organizations like NAACP or Houston Area Urban League, we always try to give back at least about 75 to 100 hours a year.
It's better than zero. That's a lot of hours if you think about it. 75 to 100. Still a lot of hours. Still a lot of hours. But I just kind of I didn't want to just break the interview up, but I was thinking about that and threw it in there. But I want to get back to ProvoCouture because you were the first person I've seen that have displays on your plate.
What do you mean, displays?
Videos on your plate.
Oh! The digital placemats. Yes. Well, good. I always want to do something that people hadn't seen
If
before.
you listening, please go to ProvoCouture Events. That's on Instagram, and look at these digital placements. You could, if you want to look at the Himalayas while you eat, you can look at the Himalayas while you eat.
You sure can.
If you want to watch it BET, it's gonna be on your food.
It can be done.
But you go watch it.
It can be done. So that was for a weekend for a social media star by the name of Mulan called me up and asked me if I would do her 24th birthday party. And so she had some outline of some events that she wanted done, and she wanted to know, could I fill in the details? And so for that was for that Saturday for the dinner, and she told me I want a black and gold dinner, and so I interpreted that into Feast of the Gods. So her and all her fabulous friends and clients and business partners came to a location, and we did Feast of the Gods. And I wanted something different because, her entire life is really about social interaction and business partnerships. And I wanted to showcase her business partnerships in a fly way. And so digital placemats were born.
Was definitely the next level. That's all I can say. But man, if you just tuning in, we kicking it with LaShica Velazquez of ProvoCouture Events. We're on 92 Kels. We're about to get ready to close out and go back up into this mix. But before we go, let everybody know where they can find all information, your personal. They can look up ProvoCouture Events, anything you have coming up in the future, all that.
Absolutely. So ProvoCouture Events, that's ProvoCouture, events with an S.com, and the same name on Instagram, Facebook, and ProvoCouture Inc. on Twitter. So follow us, like us, hit us up for your next event.
You're kicking it with G and Renegade on your favorite station.
The perfect station.
92 KELZ, the only station with new music, new artists, new sound.